And what we do is we work with people's money. How many of you like money?
I do.
Okay. We're going to talk about that today. One of the things we work with all kinds of people's goals, whether it's saving for retirement, whether it's saving for college, whether it's saving for a house, a car, something like that. We work with all kinds of things out there. But what we really focus on, what we're going to focus on today is retirement. Okay? Now, what is retirement?
You're done working.
You're done working. Okay? What dictates when that happens?
You don't have enough money.
So, can you retire at 40?
You got a ton of money.
Yeah. It all depends on your needs too, right? If you want to eat ramen and live in a cardboard box, you might be there now. Congratulations. Okay? But if you want to live like you live now, drive the car you drive now, wear the clothes you wear now, eat the food you have now, live in the house you live in now, then it's going to take some money. Okay? Now, you can have it whenever you have the money, right? What if I'm 85 and I don't have enough money to live on? Do I get to retire? I do not. Okay? Is it a right or a privilege?
It's a privilege.
It's a privilege. Okay? Now, so the question everybody always asks is how much money does it take to retire? And the answer is what? It depends. Okay? It always depends. Okay? For around here, for people with a moderate lifestyle in this area, it's roughly going to take about $500,000. Now that can be changed and altered for all kinds of different reasons, but for our sake of argument, what we're going to do today, that's probably $500,000. Okay. Now, if you have a pension, if you have double pension, your wife worked the whole time, your husband worked the whole time, that can be different. Don't get me wrong, but for today, we're going to use that. Now, let me ask you guys. You guys are all 18 right now, whether you like it or not. So, congratulations if you haven't been 18 before. Here you are. Feel different? Okay, yeah. Kind of nice, right? Okay, let's say, how many of you guys could save $1,000 a month starting today?
A month?
Okay, let's say you did that for a year. How much money would you have?
$12,000.
$12,000. And let's say you did that for 40 years, a nice career. Okay, how much money do I have?
48.
No.
Add a zero.
12 times.
$480,000. Okay. We all just did something that we all agreed we couldn't do. We did it for a significant period of time, and we still fell short of the number we're talking about, which is today's number. Okay? $480,000. If we all did that, how does anybody retire? We all just did it for a significant period of time, $1,000 a month. They did what?
Investing.
They have to invest. Okay? People don't invest because they like to see their money go up and down. They invest because they have to. Okay? If you want to reach some of those goals, those big goals like retirement, where your money doesn't run out and you have that invested that long, you have to invest it. Okay? You have to have your money working for you. Now, there's all kinds of investments out there. We're going to talk about a few of them, and they all fit into two categories. There's a loan investment, and there's an own investment. Pretty much every investment is going to fit in these two categories. Okay? A loan investment. How many of you have a checking account or savings account? Raise your hand. Okay? Checking account, savings account, they're a loan. How are they doing for you right now?
Good.
Yeah? They're doing good? What kind of return are you getting on those? What kind of interest are you paying?
Less than 1%.
Less than 1% is correct. How much less? Significantly less than 1% is what they are. So, okay, they're going to be less than 1%. Okay, now, is that good? How do you guys like that? Fantastic, right?
No.
The other class that we just worked with, they had a lot of interesting questions. They said, I don't think that's really fair. You know, the bank has this and we're getting that. I said, yeah, that's right. You're exactly right. We'll talk about that. Okay? Now, is there another investment in a bank that people can do? What is it? Common bank investment. What is it? It starts with a C
Credit.
and ends in a D. It's a CD. Anybody know what that is? Good. This will be a good learning experience for you. Okay? A CD. Certificate of deposit. Anybody know what it is? Okay, so what this is going to be somewhere the bank basically locks up your money for a certain period of time. You choose the time when you do it. If it's a 1-year CD, it's 1 year, 5-year CD, whatever it is. Okay? And for that CD, they're going to pay you a little bit higher rate because you can't touch it. So a 1-year CD is more or less, in this area, about 1%. That's pretty common, okay? 1% is gonna be pretty close. If it's 5 years, it's gonna be a little bit more, but then you're gonna lock your money up for that period of time, okay? So that's a 1-year CD. Is that good? What would you rather have, savings account or CD as far as return? CD's paying a little bit more. Is it good? Not really. Okay, 1%, not really good. Okay, so here's my question. How many of you would like to make money like a bank makes money? Okay, how many of you have a car? Put them up high. How many of you financed your car? Meaning you went to the bank and borrowed some money to get it. None of you? Did your mom and dad do it?
Yes.
Were you there? You weren't there? They didn't invite you? This has been a good experience for you to experience everything, okay? Nobody got a cosign, anything like that? Okay, well, this will be good for you. So, what kind of car did you get?
Ford Ranger.
Ford Ranger, okay? Good car. Nice job. Which one is it? What color is it?
Green.
Oh, I had a little blue Ford Ranger before, and we sprayed houses with it, and I sold that with the business, and then they kept spraying houses with it, and they sold the business. And anyway, it's just out here in the parking lot right now. Little blue Ford Ranger. Anybody know who owns it now? Thinking it might be the Call. Anybody know Call? Austin? Anyway, I saw that and I thought, maybe he got it. It's a great website. I love it. Okay, how much does your car cost? Give or take.
28.
Okay, $28,000. Okay, $28,000. You go in there and you say, hey, I got this sweet little Ford Ranger out here, and I would like to own that. And they say, here's the money, have a good time. Is that how it works? No. How does it work? What do they make you do?
The year of the car.
What's that? They get the year of the car, they want to check the value of it, but what do they do with you?
Make sure that you can pay it.
That's right. They check your credit, they check your how much debt you have, what your job is, all these things. They have to check all that stuff, right? Okay, and then they're going to charge you what? Interest. Anybody know what car loan's going for? Nobody knows? Guesses?
4.5.
It's right around 2.5 to 2.9 right now. Is that good? If you're going to borrow money, is that a good rate? Yes. Very good rate. If your mom and dad are looking to get a vehicle anytime in the next couple of years, I'd probably tell them, if you can, go take a look at that rate right now. I tell my clients right now, with very few exceptions, when they go to get a car right now, don't you dare pull your investments out right now and go and buy that. Go and finance that. We'll pay for it. It'll be fine. At 2.5%, they're practically giving that away. I'll take that all day long. All day long, okay? So, 2.5 to 2.9, and they're going to pay on that for 5 years, give or take. A bond is another kind of investment that works like a bank does, where you loan money to something else. You loan it to a corporation, you loan it to the government, or you loan it to a municipality. Okay? Just depends on what it is. It's the same type of thing. This is where I come in. Say, let's say there's a corporation, they're going to pay somewhere between 3 and probably 6 right now. Government's going to pay probably 0.5 to 3. Municipal bond probably 1 to 4, somewhere in there. Okay? Are these better rates? What would you rather have, this or this as far as rates are concerned? It's nice, right? It's better, right? Okay, here's how they work. So let's say a corporation is going to call up and say, hey, we need $1 million of certain loan. They have to go through the same stuff you went through. They check their credit, they check their debt, they check everything, and they get approved for that, okay? So then I call up my client and say, hey, we got $1 million of this bond on here. How much you want? He goes, I don't know, I'll pay $100,000 of it. How much is it paying? Paying 5%. Okay, great. Yeah, that's what the company is, everything like that. Paying 5%. Now, it's a 20-year bond. 5%. How much do I make on that a year? How much do I make on that a year? $100,000, 5%.
So it's an extra $5,000.
It's $5,000 a year, every year. I get paid $5,000 a year every year. Okay? Simple interest. It doesn't compound. I can't put it back in the bond. They just pay me that out. That's what I get. Okay? At the end of 20 years, how much money will I get out of this? Anybody know? What's 5 times 20?
Won't it double your money?
It's $100,000 that I'll get out in interest, and then they'll come around and they'll give me back my $100,000 of principal as well. And that's how a bond works, okay? There's a reason why banks work like this. If you want to be like the bank, you can go out and loan money like a bond. It's the same type of situation. Now, one thing I'll point out here, government bonds, they pay the least. Why? That's what everybody wants to say, right? Oh, those dirty buggers, that government, they're always trying to ding us for something. Is that the reason? No. Has nothing to do with that at all. Has nothing to do with that at all. It's because they're the safest bonds. Okay? The government dictates our everything. Our monetary system, everything like that. If the government goes out of business, how are these other things doing? How's that bank doing if the government's out of business?
Terrible.
Not good. Gone. Okay? If the corporations, how are they doing as far as their business is concerned? If the government's gone, the military's gone, everything else is gone, dollar's gone, what happens? It's bad, okay? That's why government is the safest bonds. High return, high risk, low return, low risk. Low return, low risk. That's the reason. They're always going to be on that bottom end of the spectrum. That's what they're looking, that's what most people want it to be at, okay? Low risk. You don't ever want this thing to be really high. Because that would mean what? Let's say this is paying 7%. But these ones are only paying 3 or 4. What's that saying about the government? That's risky, okay? European countries right now, well, especially like a year and a half ago, some of these Spain bonds, I mean, they're like 17%. That's not really where you want your bonds to be, okay? That's why that's so low, okay? Questions about bonds? Questions about loan investments? Got it? Okay. So my question is this. How many of you know who Bill Gates is? Raise your hand. Okay. Ladies? Best looking guy on television? Is that why you know who Bill Gates is? Who is he?
Do I know who he is?
Do you know who Bill Gates is?
He's like a millionaire.
He's like something else in that air.
A
Yeah.
billion.
It's like a zillion. Yeah, he's up there. Okay.
He owns Microsoft.
Is he? Number 1. There you go. Okay. He is a billionaire. Where did he get his money? Microsoft. Where did Microsoft come from? Anybody know the story of Microsoft?
Oh, it came from his house.
He stole it.
It did come from his house. Okay, he didn't steal it. No, it's sort of. Yeah,
He
kind of.
started it in probably
Okay.
his own house.
He started it in his garage. Okay? And these aren't exactly the perfect details, but I'll give you some ideas of the details. Him and a good buddy, Steve Jobs, started at Microsoft. Their idea was to do this. See this? Personal computer in your house. In the 70s, nobody had this. I know that might just blow your mind, but that didn't happen. Okay? Governments had computers. They were huge. They were as big as this room. They had roller skates to run them, everything like that. Okay? That's it. That's what their idea was. And they wanted to make these for everybody to have their personal computers in their homes. They thought, hey, this is great. Everybody should have one. Okay? Now, that's the equivalent of building something like that in your garage is building a rocket ship in your backyard right now. Let's say they needed a loan for this. They went to the bank, okay? They said, hey, I need $15,000 for this loan. Now, if you're the bank, is this a good investment? You come to the bank. What's your name? Eli. Eli walks in the bank and says, hey, me and a couple of my buddies are building rock ship and we need some money. And the bank says, oh, no problem, right? No. What do they say?
You're right.
What did you do? Get out of here. You even have a job. Get out of here. Okay. Right? No. They're like, forget it. But let's say that you are a pretty smooth talker. Okay? And you get the loan. Is that going to be high interest or low interest? High. Very high. Let's say it's 20%. Let's say it's a 5-year loan. $15,000, 20%, 5-year loan. Okay. Let's fast forward. Bill Gates. Did he make it or did he fail?
He made it.
Made it. Just barely, right? Okay, so how many of you would rather be the bank that loaned him the money? And how many of you would rather be Bill Gates?
Bill
Okay?
Gates.
the bank will loan you the money, that's 20%. Anybody put their hands up for that? That's pretty high. 20%, it's good interest rate, anybody? No. Okay, Bill Gates, raise your hands. If you want to be Bill Gates, raise your hand. Why? Because I think you could probably go back, buy the bank, fire the guy that gave him the loan because that was such a terrible rate, and then move on with life. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay? He's kind of got a little bit of money. All right, so, well, I'll put it in perspective. He makes billions of dollars a year. You know how much is that? No, you're looking at that.
No, it's Microsoft.
Okay, so billions of dollars a year is what he makes every year. So, how much is $1 billion? Let's put it in perspective for you.
A million.
If you had $1 billion on day
100.
one, year one of our calendar
It's
system,
100
2014
million.
years ago and change, and you spent $1,000 every single day for 2014 years, you didn't spend $1 billion yet. And you won't spend it, your kids won't spend it, their kids won't spend it, and their kids won't spend it either. Right around the year 2700, you'll spend $1 billion at that rate of $1,000 a day.
You could be set
What
up.
is he even doing?
You'd be set for a lot of lives. Okay? You could be set a long time. Okay? He makes how much again?
77.
Ladies, how's he looking now? Bill Gates look a little bit better?
$1 billion.
Yeah, 77,
He makes a lot of money. That's his net worth. What's he make annually, does it say? I know that fluctuates, I'm just curious. He's kind of rich, just a little bit. Okay? So my question is, if you want to be Bill Gates, how many of you like to own Microsoft? Can you own Microsoft?
Yeah, if you buy it into
Okay, how do you do that?
Or corporate tradition. Sorry,
an investment.
Wow, this is how much he earned just since I've been on this site.
That sounds like Mrs.
His
Williams, right?
annual-
Wait,
yeah,
why is
That's
it?
about what she makes every
Okay,
hour.
it keeps going. It keeps going up
His
every month.
annual salary is $3 billion.
3,710,000,000. I'll just take the last. I'll take the 10 million.
Like every
That'll be
month?
fine. I'll be good with that.
Just
Okay?
annual, so yearly.
Wow, that's a lot of money, right?
I didn't know they had.
That's actually more than what, Miss Williams, that's probably almost as much as you make.
Yeah, almost.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. I've seen the pay stubs. They're pretty impressive. Okay. So you can own a piece, right? What's it called?
And
It's called a stock. What's a stock? It's a share of ownership. That's it. You have a share of ownership in the company. Okay, we've got that up right now. Share of Microsoft is going for what? It's called $39.50. Right there. If you buy one share, are you an owner?
no,
Yes, you are.
You're partially an owner.
You are an owner. Are you a big owner or a little owner? Yeah, you're a little owner. But you are an owner,
Well,
right?
if you own like half of them.
If you own half, you'd be a very good owner. In fact, you'd be a majority shareholder. You'd actually own the company if you own half of it.
Yeah, half
Sure,
of it's
that's how it
yours.
works. So, the symbol right here, by the way, if you didn't catch it up on the board. Okay, there's Microsoft. Okay? Now, let's see. What time did we get out of here? I'm not asking you.
11:19.
Okay. All right. So, what you want to own companies that people use. Did anybody use Microsoft? Raise your hand if you use Microsoft.
Every day.
Every day. Everybody uses it. What are you doing? Okay. Doing great, right? So, you want to use companies, own companies people use. Why?
More money, because more people use those, so the more money they generate, the more money you get.
Yeah, think of like an owner, okay? Let's say you're going to open a beauty salon, okay? You're going to open a beauty salon and then not make any money. Is that kind of the goal?
no.
You sit back and say, hey, that is one nice looking beauty salon. Is that what you're going to do? Nope. No. You want to own companies that make money. Let's say you're going to buy into a beauty salon. Before you do that, what are you going to do? You going to meet with the owner?
Yeah.
You going to go over some financial statements maybe?
Yeah.
Hey, how you guys doing? Where's your money coming from? Oh, you guys made $39 last year. I think I'll hold on to my money. That'll be fine. Is that what you're going to do? Yeah,
Yes.
that's exactly what we're going to do. We want to use companies that make money. Nobody wants to use a company that doesn't make money. Nobody wants to own a company that just sits there. Nobody wants to do that. If you're gonna be an owner of a company, you wanna make money. That's the goal. That's what you're doing. So you wanna use companies that people use. Companies that people use make money. They sell their products. They make money for it. Okay? So that's the goal. That's what you're aiming for. Now, tell me a company you'd want to own a stock in.
Apple.
Apple. Okay? Apple's a good start.
Yeah,
Why Apple? $604 a share.
I want, and one thing I would invest in is Google. Always
Okay.
Google. Google's a pretty good.
Google's a pretty good one too.
Yeah.
Okay? They split. They're sitting right around 538. Something close to that.
I can look it up.
Okay?
Okay.
Right there. 531. Okay.
531.
Now, let's go back to Apple. Does anybody use Apple?
No.
Mhm.
There you go. There's your iPad right there. Nice advertisement. Not iPhones. Everybody else got another product? They're all over the place, right? Okay. I'm gonna put Apple. I like to use Apple because this tells you a little bit about the owner of the company has a lot of pull in this as well. Okay. Owner of Apple up until about a year ago was
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Okay. Now, Steve Jobs, interesting guy. Okay, does a lot of great things, but just a huge innovator. Okay. Now, Apple existed back in the 80s too. Steve Jobs was working for him, he was the owner, but the board decided, hey, we want you to use all your creativity, we want you to hire a CEO. So he interviewed all these big time CEOs to come in and run Apple. And the guy at Pepsi was the one that tells the story. He said, I went in there for my interview. I'm in a nice suit, I'm all dressed up, everything looks good. And Steve Jobs walks in, what do you think he's wearing? Boat shoes, t-shirt. He says he walks in, he looks me up and down, and he says, do you want to go sell sugar water the rest of your life? Or do you want to come with me and change the world? He goes, wow, I just felt terrible. I said, that's all I do. I just sell sugar water every day. That's all I do. And he goes, yeah, I want to come with you and change the world. He goes, all right. Now, let's fast forward to today. Was he right? Did Apple change the world?
Yes.
How?
New technology.
New
New
technology.
technology.
Yeah.
How long has the iPhone, smartphone, even been around? How
Since
about, let's just
2007.
even go back to the iPod. How long has that been around?
Couple years.
2005, 7.
Okay, yeah. Let's call it 2004, which I'm not sure if it's even that far back. Okay? We're just 10 years from that. What about the iPhone? That's been less time than the president's even been in office. The iPad, that's been less time than that. Do we use these products? Are they just a game console? Is that all we use them for? No. People run their entire business on these things. They changed everything. How about the music industry? Has that been changed?
Yeah.
Absolutely. How about the video industry? Has that been changed? You better believe it has. All of these things have changed because Steve Jobs changed it. That says a lot about the person. It says a lot about the company. That says how much innovation can go into a company like this. Is Apple a good investment?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. $604 a share. Is that good? Here's a little insight for you. In June, they're doing a 7-for-1 split. What does that mean? What's a 7-for-1 split? Anybody know? Okay, they're going to split that. Okay, think of it like a pie. And I'm not going to draw 7 pieces, but they cut it up. Okay? And now you're going to get 7 for 1. So if you own 1 share, how many shares do you own after June?
7.
7 shares. Now, if I divide the price, 604, by 7, it's going to be roughly 86 bucks, something like that. How much money did I make on that split? Did I make any money at all?
Mm-mm.
No. Still just the pie, right? But it's funny because people just totally think, oh, it split, I made a ton of money on that. Okay? Why would I do that though? If I'm Apple, why do I split?
More investors.
More investors, okay? More people. If I go try to sell Apple right now, people go, oh, I don't know. It's a pretty high price. I don't know. I got $3,000 in I invest. How many shares can I buy? 5. Ooh, I think I'll probably wait on that, okay? But if I come to them and say, hey, this is a good investment, Apple's a good company to own, $86 a share. Ooh, how many shares can I get? 35? Oh, all right. That sounds good. Okay, I can do that. Okay? Totally different. Same pie. That's why you split. That's why these companies do that, is it reintroduces more investors. People feel differently about an $86 stock than a $604 stock for some reason. It's the same company. It's the same investment. Everything's exactly the same. But they're looking to do that here in June. Okay? Now Google, interestingly, just got done with one. They just did a 2-for-1 split. Okay? They were up over $1,000 just at the beginning of this year. They do a 2-for-1 split. They're at 531. Still a good company. Do you use Google by chance?
Every day.
We're not even using Google right now. We're using Yahoo. How about that? You are old school.
I
Pro.
like
Y'all
your
almost buy Google
finance
Apple.
page better.
I agree though. Yahoo Finance is a pretty good page. Okay, so that's your Google. Okay, good investment. People use it. Use it all the time. How does Google make their money?
Church.
Charge what? Last time I was on Google, it was free. What do they charge?
Advertisements.
Advertisements. How many of you have been on Google and seen an advertisement? Everywhere. Everywhere. Okay? How many of you ever bought something because you saw an advertisement on Google? Maybe you didn't click on it right then, but you don't understand how advertising works.
Yeah.
Later you're like, oh, I need to get a new car. That's right, I saw that. That seems like a pretty good car. And all of a sudden it's in your head. That's why they do it. That's why they advertise. Okay? All right. One more company. Give me one.
Starbucks? I'm just going by what kind.
Let's go Coke. How many of you use Coke? Yeah. Do you know if you use Coke?
Yeah.
What else do they do? Do they do anything else besides Coke?
Mm-hmm.
How many of you like a Powerade? They any good?
Sprite, they make, what is it?
They make all kinds of stuff. They have water. Dasani water, last you checked, was what?
Coke Pine?
Coke. Okay? They're kind of a big company. They kind of do a lot of things. Oh, no, just KO. That's a different one. So, we're going to use Coke. We're going to talk about how the price works and how people actually make money. Okay? How many of you watch the news and you see the guys stand up and they're clapping and the numbers flash on the screen, everybody's
Oh, yeah.
clapping in the back, and then that's it. They say, the Dow made this, the S&P did that, and the NASDAQ did this. What does that mean?
Mm.
Anybody know?
They're happy.
That's the markets. That's what the markets do. Okay? They're talking about what the markets did that day. Those are indexes, they're averages. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is probably the most famous of all. Anybody know how many companies are actually in the Dow Jones Industrial Average?
3.
Give me a number.
3.
No, it's more than that. Dow Jones
25?
Industrial Average. Huh?
25?
30. There are 30 companies in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Of thousands of companies out there that are traded, that's the one we always go, oh, how'd the Dow do today? Now, they are the biggest companies. There are some huge, huge, huge companies out there. But that's all they are. Now, here's my question. Well, I'll tell you, all the markets are is an auction. How many been to an auction? Any kind of auction. Livestock, car auction, I don't care what it is. Okay? If you're at an auction, everybody wants to know what happens to the price. If nobody wants to know what happens to the price,
Goes down.
that's all it is. That's all the markets really do. I mean, it's more complicated to some degree, but that, in a simple form, that's it. That's all it is. So my question is, if you have Coke, you're looking to buy Coke, when do you buy it? Is this a good time to buy it?
No.
Is this a good time to buy it?
Yes.
Yeah.
What about this?
No.
Why not?
It's middle.
Why is that not a good time to buy?
Because it looks like it's starting to go up.
That's like 30, 38, 50 a share. 38, 50 a share. Is that a good time to buy? Why?
The middle-ish, so it depends, so it could go up or down.
It could go up or down. What dictates if this is a good time to buy or not? If I bought right here and sold right here, is that a good time to buy? No. No. But if I bought right here and I still hold it right here, is that a good time to buy? What if I bought right here and I sold it right here? Is that a good time to buy? Good time to buy, right? It's all about time. You want to buy an investment that's good to own. You want to hold on to it for a relatively significant period of time. People make money in stocks by buying something that's quality and hanging on to it for a period of time. Now, here's the other side of the coin, just so you know. There are times, I just bought a stock, EMES, you can move that up if you want. EMES, Emerged Energy, okay? Bought it for a client. I'll show you this on this here. Here's the chart. Okay, now, we bought this stock right here. Right here in February, maybe in January, right in there, we bought this stuff,
Wow.
okay?
That's a lot.
Now,
Sweet.
it had a great dividend, there was a couple things he liked about it, we liked it was in oil and gas, we liked a lot of things about it, that's why he bought it. Now, it went straight up. Very good. Now, I'll be honest, he doesn't own it right now. He sold out at $86 a share, which was right here is where we sold that. And then literally the next day it went all the way up to like 90. In fact, it crested 90, I think it went to 92 as its high. And I thought, man, how does this stock just keep going up? But I was looking at it and saying, yeah, you gotta take your earnings on this. This is unbelievable. You've doubled your money. Let's go. So even though I said, yeah, you hold on to it for a significant period of time, I'm just saying, hey, if you get your earnings, leave. I always try to relate it to fruit, okay? If I go out there and I got a peach tree and I'm going, oh, I know it's perfect. That's a really nice peach. I've been raising these all year. That's a good peach. I think I'll give it a few more days though. You come out and check it again. They're still pretty good. I think I'll give it a few more days. The next thing you know, they're on the ground. And they're just rotten. Okay? I always tell my clients, we're going to harvest this when the fruit's ripe. Whenever the fruit is ripe, we're going to harvest it. And sometimes we have to just basically plow under the crop, whatever it was. Then we invested in something that just went like this. We held on to it. It went like this. It popped up a little bit, and we said, hey, this is the time. We're getting out. And we take a loss, but we get out when we can. Okay? That's how stocks work. You want to hold something, though, that people are going to use. That's the key on stocks. And it's time. Leave it enough time to let it do its thing. Have you ever planted a garden? Maybe you're planting a garden right now. How many of you planted a garden in the last, well, ever? Have you planted one in the last couple of weeks, maybe? Okay, you just planted one. Okay, so is everything sprouted yet?
Yes.
Everything sprouted?
Well, we got them as a little,
Oh, you didn't plant it? Who planted seeds? Cheated. Okay, who planted seeds? Okay, you planted seeds. When did you plant them?
What did I plant?
When?
Oh, like a couple of weeks ago.
Is everything up?
No.
So if you just go out there and dig them up all the time and see if they're up?
No.
You just kind of check,
Just kind of-
what is that ready now? Oh, yeah, no. Well, no, that's not. Some people do that with their stocks. Okay? They buy it, the next day they're like, ooh, is that? No, that's not right yet. What about now? No. Ooh, it's just barely breaking. I think I better sell it. Well, you could wait. It's going to turn into a 10-foot corn stalk. It'll be fine. Go ahead, give it some time. But people do that all the time. And we laugh about it, but the truth of the matter is people do it all the time. Okay? All right, questions for me on stocks? Yes?
Do you think Apple will be bigger than Microsoft like in the future?
It's bigger than Microsoft now to some degree, depending on what you want to look at. Their revenue is really, really good. There's a lot of things that are good about it. The only issue with Apple is Microsoft came on at a great time when everything needed like a software platform like that. And they got in on the door. So, I'll give you for instance. In my office, under our operating systems with LPL Financial, which is where I work through, they don't work under Apple format. They just don't. They're looking to try to do that, but they don't. And most of the time, that's the case. Most of them are already on the Microsoft. They want to spend the money to be able to move their stuff over to an Apple platform. And until they do, Microsoft's going to have the edge for that. Now, if Microsoft keeps coming out with, in my opinion, crap products like Microsoft Windows 8,
It's what users hostile.
I hate it. It's unbelievable how bad it is. Now, they've done a couple upgrades along the way. It's kind of a little bit better, but still a nightmare to use. They keep doing that, and they may shoot themselves in the foot. So but that's a good question. It's just the only thing is Microsoft's got a great edge for those types of things. They're in on everything. I mean, basically every operating system uses Windows. They're all the time they're using Windows. They'd have to completely change that over to an Apple type situation. It'd be tough. But never say never. You just don't know. Okay? Other questions? This is a good question.
How do you invest?
Good. Okay? Let's talk about investing. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can go online, you can do an E-Trade, you can do all the things. You can work with a financial advisor like myself. You can work with another financial advisor. You can work at a bank. They have financial advisors sometimes there. It just depends. You can do it by the trade if you want to buy stocks. I did not cover this significantly, but let's talk about mutual funds real quick. That's going to be something that's like a group of different securities. It may have bonds in it, it may have stocks in it, it may have all kinds of different things in it. Does that make sense? So mutual funds can be a pretty good platform to use as well for those types of things. Mutual funds are nice for you guys if you want to get started though, because they don't have very high minimums for the most part. They may only have like $100 minimum. Okay? You can just start putting money in that and it'll start growing for you or be invested for you along the way. And then you've got a mutual fund manager who decides what you hold. Maybe you have 500 stocks, 500 different securities in one mutual fund with $100 buy-in. You can't do that on your own. It's just not possible. So that's a good way to go too. So those are both a couple of good things. There's all kinds of avenues to go. Whether it's internet, or whether it's someone as a person, or quite frankly, you can buy it direct from the company, where you basically, you can do it through the mail. I've got old clients that do that sometimes. And they'll get a stock certificate in the mail. That's archaic, but they do it. So, but those are all different ways to invest, all different things. And you have to tie that usually into your bank account in order to pay that if you do it online, or you have to bring in a check if you're doing it with someone in person, things like that. So, good questions. Okay, now, we got 15 minutes. Okay. Everybody will say, well, besides what Mrs. Williams is paying me, which is phenomenal, it's astronomical, it's just fantastic to be here for that. But outside of that, the reason I come is what I'm going to go over right now. Okay, this is all fun, like this is neat, what am I going to use it? Okay, whatever. Okay, this is why. It's the rule of 72. Did you go over this with them?
I did a little bit.
Good. This will be great for them. Okay, rule of 72. What's it tell us?
How long it'll take for your money to double.
Tells you how fast your money doubles. Okay? So you've got double in years over here. So it's a double and it's in years. Okay? How do I do it?
The percentage of,
I take whatever I'm returning, whatever the interest rate is, it's got to be a compounded interest rate in order for this to work. It can't be simple interest. Okay? So let's say you average 10%. How fast does your money double? 7.2. Okay? What if I do 9? How fast does my money double? 72 divided by 9. I got third grader at home, I'll do this way. 72 divided by 9 is what?
You guys need to get out.
oh,
Come on!
72 nice.
What is it?
It's 8.
Yeah, that's it. Good job. 8. Okay? Let's do the reverse. Make it easy. Divided by 8, what is it? There you go. Very good. Now we're on the same page. Okay. What if I do 12? Ooh,
By 72? 5?
72 divided by 12, close.
6.
6. It's 6. Okay, opposite's true. If I do it 6 years, it's 12. What if I do it at 3?
That's just terrible. 2.
What is it?
Say it out loud.
2.4,
18.
Take the decimal away.
or 24, yeah.
24. Okay, that's going to come back later. Okay? All right. This is how the rule of 72 works. It's fun, right? Do all kinds of magic tricks and stuff like this. I bet I can tell you how fast that's going to double. Watch this, okay? Cool, right? I probably made it up, right? I taught Mr. Williams. I put it in the textbook. I made it up. Is that true?
Albert Einstein.
No. I wish it was, but it's not. Okay. So, let's use application. Let's decide how this actually works. Okay? To ask you guys earlier if you could save $1,000 a month if you wanted to start today. And all of you went, what? No way. What if I asked you to save $100 a month? If you wanted to, starting today. Okay? Let's say you did that for a year. How much money do you have?
1,000.
If I save $100 a month for a
shoot.
year?
100 times 12, whatever that is.
1,200.
I think that's from here.
Say that louder. 100 times 12, whatever that is. What is it?
1,200.
It's 1,200. Okay. Let's put the 12 in there. Okay. Good job. Okay. I'm gonna take your birthday off and Christmas off though. Okay. So how much money do I have?
1,000.
$1,000. Okay. Have $1,000, and you're 18. Congratulations. If you're not 18 yet, you made it. Do you feel different? No. Cool. Okay. All right. So $1,000, 18, and I'm going to say we average 12%. You can argue with me all day long that that's too high, and that's fine. And we can use something else, but this makes my math easy, makes my point better. Okay? There are a lot of long-term investments that have averaged 12% over their span, and it's possible you can make that. I'm not promising that, but we're gonna say for this period of time, we did that. So we averaged 12% for that period of time, and we do it for 54 years. If I'm averaging 12%, how fast is my money gonna double?
6 years.
Every 6 years. I do it for 54 years, it makes math easy, right? Okay, so how many doubles do I get? Louder.
9.
9 doubles, okay? Let's walk it out, okay? 1,000 turns to what?
2,000.
2,000 turns to
4,000.
4,000, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. Am I done?
2, 3.
No, I get one more double. $512,000. What the heck? How much money did I put in there? $1,000. How much money did I get in the back end? 512,000. Did I make that up? Why does that work? Why is that even reasonable to think that even works? What are the reasons? We're talking about 54 years of time. That's one reason. And we're talking about 12% interest. Argue with it all you want, it is a good interest rate. That's the reason it works. It's 12%. If it's 10%, it's going to double every 7.2 years. So over 54 years, I'm going to get roughly 7.5 doubles, more or less. Okay? So that's going to put me somewhere right around here, between here and here. Let's call it $200,000, somewhere close. Okay? So if you want to do that, you can do that. If you want to say, oh, I only did 8, so I get every 9, so now I'm only getting 6, so that's it. Cut it any way you want, it still works. Okay? Is that nice? Would you guys like that? How much
Yeah.
money did you put in? $1,000. It doesn't work for Mrs. Williams anymore, I might add. Why does it not? Careful, careful. What is it?
She's. I was about to say ancient.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh,
Ref takes a
well,
point away.
I haven't
Okay.
done citizenship yet.
Ah, there you go. Okay.
She'll be alive in 54.
It's because she's, I think
A
they
bit
refer to it as
older.
experienced. I think that's how they like to say that, right? No, it doesn't work. She doesn't have 54 years to make this run the same way. You guys do. This is why I take time to come and talk to you guys. I graduated from Box Elder. Nobody came and talked to me. I didn't know this stuff until I went to college. Is this difficult?
Yeah.
No, it's not difficult, but nobody teaches it, and nobody understands it, and most people don't apply it. This is why I come. These are the things you want to do. These are the things you want to start to apply. If nothing else, most of you said, hey, I can save $100 a month if I wanted to. Why don't you? Let's do that, okay? If nothing else, even if I don't start investing, let's start saving $100 a month. Let's start putting that away. I'd love to have the money back that I spent on all the dates I went on. Not that I didn't like any of the people I went on dates with, but boy, I spent a lot of money in high school on dates.
Yeah.
That money's just gone. If I just had invested that, wow, it'd be unbelievable. Okay? Now, here's the thing that I tell you. This is your warning. So you say, oh, I believe that guy. That guy, he seems like he's pretty sharp. I'm going to try this. And I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I'm going to put this in at 18, and I'm 24 here, and 30, and 36 here, and I'm 42 right here. Okay? 42. And you have how much money? You got $16,000 here. And you say to yourself, you know what, that guy that came and saw me when I was 18 is a liar. There's no way this works. I mean, I'm like almost halfway, and I got $16,000. He says he's going to have $500,000. There's no way. I'm just going to pull it out and buy some jet skis or something like that. Okay? What did you miss when you started to have that argument with yourself?
The rest of the numbers.
What?
Everything doubles.
Everything doubles. Explain that more.
If you put it in another year, you're gonna get twice as much.
Are these doubles? These are the good ones, right? Do these ones really matter? I could just as easily probably put 2,000 in the beginning and just skip that first double, right? Just make it even more on the other side. Is that true? Absolutely true. These are the ones that matter. When I'm clipping along at $250,000 on a 6-year time period, whew, man, that's a good one. Those are the ones you want. But most people miss that idea. Well, they start late. If they start at 42, they're only getting 6 or 5 more doubles anyway. So if I do the same thing, and I start at 42, I end at $32,000. It's the same thing. But the doubles of the time and how long you leave them, that's what matters. Starting earlier does matter. Having more time on your side does make a difference. Okay? That's why I come and spend some time with you guys. That's it. That's the realistic stuff that's out there. How much money did I put in there? $1,000. You guys all said, hey, I could do that. So then go do it. I don't care if you do it with me or do it with somebody else.
I'll do it. How much do you have to pay you for you to do this for us?
Depends on the stuff. Some if you do like a mutual fund, you do like a no-load, it just has like an expense ratio every year. Doesn't like cost you anything up front or anything. It just depends. So there's all kinds of ways to go about it doing it. Just here's my biggest thing. Be aware. Be aware that it's out there. Be aware that it's real. Be aware that it matters to you, even though, hey, I'm just a sophomore in high school. This doesn't matter. It does matter. It absolutely does. It matters. Because Social Security is kind of a mess, true. Pensions are kind of a thing of the past. So if you're not worried about your retirement, who is? Nobody. They don't care. What did we say at the beginning? Is it a right or a... It's a privilege. You got to do something for it. This is the stuff you need to do. Now's the part where I really, this is the cool part. You're like, oh, I think I can do that. Here's the part where I scare you. Okay? So let's talk about this number right here at the bottom. Okay? This 3. Anybody know what this 3 might represent?
Inflation.
It's inflation. Okay? Inflation is what that 3 represents. How fast, on average, am I going to double? If I average 3% inflation, it's going to double every 24 years. Every 24 years. Now wait a minute. I talked about that number at the beginning. That's 500,000, right? Is that, whose number is that?
Today.
That's today's number. Is that your number? No, not your number. Okay? Let's say you're 48 years away from retirement. How many doubles is that at 3% inflation?
Twice.
So if I have $500,000 and I double that twice, what is it? 1 mil, 2 mil. That's the number we're talking about. That's the realistic number. That's the type of thing you guys are going to have. Now, keep in mind and bear in mind that if inflation does go up like that, wages go up with it. So you think, oh, when I get out, someday I'd like to make $100,000 a year. Well, I hope you do, because if you don't, you're probably going to be behind the 8 ball. Okay? If the average salary right now is $40,000 to $50,000, and we doubled that twice, that's $100,000, that's $200,000. That's your average income. So if that's realistic that this is going to double like that, so will those. So now a median income is $200,000. But you still got to save in order to do that. If you really want to get scared, here's the real number. Well, not the real number. Here's a possible number. 4%. If I do 4%, 72 divided by 4, it's what? Okay, it's 18.
I was thinking 17.
Pretty close. Okay, 18. That means over basically a 48-year timeline, that's going to double basically another time. Pretty close. Okay, so that makes it 4 mil. To be honest, if we stayed exactly as we have been, you're probably somewhere right in the middle of that. Probably 3 million is probably a fair estimate for someone like yourselves with no pension in order to get a moderate type retirement when you get there, under all these assumptions. You're like, oh my gosh, why did I do it? Okay, that's where you're at. Questions? Yes?
So, I kind of understand how like the rule of 72, but like how do you start it? I guess, like do you put it in a bank account with $1,000 or do you put it?
Oh, how do you start investing?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I thought you were talking about the equation. I'm like, I put a 7-2 up, and then I usually divide it by 7-2. Okay. I was like, okay. So a couple things you can do. First and foremost, how old are you guys? 18. Are you guys 18?
Yeah.
Most of you are seniors or close to it? Okay. more than anything else, that I would like you, on a personal basis, that I'd like you to learn. I mean, the investment side is cool, and I think it's good. I think you should definitely take advantage of it when you can.
Yeah.
But learning to save is completely priceless to you. It's going to be worth so much to you if you learn to save now. Because if our government would learn to save, we would not be in the situation that we're in. If some people as a whole would learn to save, we would be in better situations too. We need to learn to save better than we are. So if nothing else happens from this, if you go home and say, hey, I'm putting $100 away a month, or if I'm already do it, say, I'm going to put an extra $50 of that a month. I'm going to learn to put money away and I'm going to save it. If you learn to do that, you're going to be better off. If you do that in a savings account, that's something. Now, if you want to say, hey, I'd like to look into maybe putting some stuff in a mutual fund or a stock or something like that, like I said, there's lots of ways to do it. You can come to like someone like myself. There's people here in town that do that. There's people at banks that do that a lot of times. You can do it online. The only thing I'd tell you online is just be careful. Make sure you do your homework. If you can have someone help you along the way, that's probably a good idea, because it is dangerous. I mean, could Bill Gates have failed? What happens if you fail?
You lose it all.
Anybody ever heard of Enron? Probably never heard of that, have you?
No.
Okay, huge company in Texas. Huge company, great company. Well, they were cooking the books. They were lying about their earnings. They were lying about things like that. They were worthless. And people had a lot of money invested in them. And they went, boom, bankrupt. If I got $1 million in a company like that, how much money have I gotten that now?
Zero.
Zero. When it goes out, my money goes with it. So you've got to be careful while you invest. I'd probably suggest a mutual fund, conservative, and I'd probably let it run for a while. But I'd make sure I got a good mutual fund manager over that that's really going to watch something, probably a nice track record on it, something like that. Just depends what you want to do. They can do it with me. They can do it with other things too. So you can do it online by yourself. Some of those can be done, like a Fidelity is an online type thing. You can do that if you'd like. So there's lots of things out there. But just be careful. You can't just willy-nilly say, there, I'm going with it. I mean, even Apple. Apple's a great stock. Don't get me wrong. That's a great company. Could they be gone in 10 years?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely gone. Look at Kodak. Kodak's like gone. I don't know if they're fully bankrupt yet, but how many of you use film in your cameras?
No.
So I thought, how about a camera that does film?
No.
Didn't think so.
I haven't seen one in years.
Does film.
So, yeah, make sure you watch that.